Very good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about anemometers and hygrometers. Do you know what is meant by anemometers? Anemo means wind, okay, wind velocity or wind speed. Wind is those who have studied biology group in higher secondary, they should have come across the word anemophilic. What are called anemophilic? Anemophilics are nothing but the reproduction through wind. Okay, so the anemometers are nothing but measurement of fluid or wind speed. Okay, fluid speed, either liquid or gas. So for both speed, fluid speed can be measured using. There are variety of techniques, but we in our syllabus we particularly concentrate on the resistance type of anemometers. Okay, so resistance type of anemometers are called hot wire anemometers. So what is meant by a hot wire? A wire is placed in a stream. Okay, a small wire. You know the size of the wire is around 3 mm, 3 micrometer. Sorry, 3 micrometer in diameter. You just realize the size of the wire. So 3 micrometer diameter, 3 micrometer diameter wire, and length is around 2 mm. Okay, 2 mm, 1.5 to 2 mm length. So 2 mm length and 1.3, the diameter of the wire is 3.5 micrometer. So such it is made up of, as usual, platinum or tungsten. Okay, the wire is made up of platinum or tungsten. So that wire is placed in the fluid, say fluid medium. If it is gas which is flowing through the pipe, so we have to place inside the pipe the wire. So there are some structures. Our instrumentation engineers designed some structures for the wire construction. Okay, so when we place the wire inside the fluid medium, whether it may be having some temperature, that is independent. So when we place the wire in the medium and we pass some current through the wire. So when we pass some current through the wire, there is a I square R loss. As we already discussed in resistance temperature detectors, RTD, self-heating error like that. Okay, I square R loss. So when we pass a current I through the wire, I square R loss, some heat will be generated. So we have to heat the wire. Okay, so when we heat the wire, the fluid speed, when the fluid velocity, either gas or liquid, when fluid velocity strikes the wire, so it tries to cool down the wire temperature. So when it tries to cool down the temperature, there may be the wire resistance. Wire resistance may change. Okay, wire resistance may change. So the change in resistance is the measure of fluid velocity. Clear? Understand? So we have to place a wire, small wire. I already informed the size of the wire. So it is placed in the fluid medium. We have to heat the wire by passing the current. Okay, when we pass the current to the wire, what happened? The fluid velocity tries to cool. Okay, so when we pass, there is a change in heat in the wire, I square R, the change in the heat. So due to the change in heat, as a metal, the wire is made up of platinum or tungsten, the resistance changes. So we have to detect the resistance change. Clear? We have to detect the resistance change. So we will see the construction and features of anemometer. We are going to see two type of anemometers. One is constant current anemometer, or one is constant temperature anemometers. We'll see what are the relations occur in the anemometer. Okay. So this is constructions of the anemometer, general construction. So this is a constructional feature of general anemometer. This is called probe. This is called probe. This probe is placed inside the medium. So probe. Okay. So this is the wire. I will change. Let me change the color. So this is the wire whose diameter is 3.5 micrometer, and the length is around 1.5 to 2 mm length. So the length of the wire is around 2 mm. So when we pass current I through this house setup, the probe, this entire setup is called probe, anemometer probe, hot wire anemometer probe. The flow, the fluid flow hits the wire. So when we pass current I, actually these two are terminals. We can connect to the Wheatstone bridge as usual. All the rescued sensors are signal conditioned through with the help of Wheatstone bridge. Okay, but whereas for this bridge, this anemometers, we have to use AC excitation bridge. I will tell you the reason. Okay, so DC AC excitation. Okay, because constant there are two types of excitation: constant current and constant temperature variations. So when we pass current I through this probe wire, this connections go to bridge circuit. Okay, Wheatstone bridge or any other circuit. Any other means ballast circuit also we can use, but depend on the type. So this is a housing, ceramic tubing. This is ceramic tubing. This ceramic cement, which is used to bond or mount the wire holder. These two are holders of hot wire. So the resistance of wire is considered as RT. Sometimes it is called RW or RT. As usual in like PT100, we are following the same term. RT is the resistance of the wire. The fluid velocity, let Vf is the fluid velocity. The fluid also has some temperature, fluid temperature. We don't know what is the actual temperature of the fluid. So fluid temperature and the fluid velocity. Then when we pass current, the resistance of the wire is RT. At that condition, some T, temperature of the wire. So the heat loss, I square R loss, I square RT creates some temperature that is considered as T. Okay, T is the temperature of the wire. Then RT is the resistance of the wire, Vf the velocity of the wire, Tf the temperature of the fluid medium. Okay, so you know there is a convection effect here, not conduction, convection, because from the fluid medium to metal medium, so the heat transfer is called convection, heat convection. So we are having another parameter U equal to overall heat transfer coefficient. According to King's law, see, when the electrical power is equal to the power loss to the convective heat transfer, so the I square R loss in the wire, the sensor wire, anemometer wire I square R loss equal to UA into T minus TF. T is the wire temperature, TF is the fluid temperature, AW is the area of cross section of the wire, U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. The same balance condition we studied in modeling of thermometers. Okay, in modeling of thermometer, the equilibrium condition is Ms, that is in the thermodynamic equation, Ms into dt by dt2, dt1 by dt equal to UA T2 minus T1. So this we studied in RTD. Similar balance equation here. This is conduction, this is convection. So this convection is in gas or any liquid. So the convection equilibrium condition is the electrical power input equal to the power lost due to the convective heat transfer. So the wire resistance also sensitive to temperature. Okay, so RT, the RT is also this RT is also function of a temperature. So according to metal, the resistance temperature relation is given as RT equal to R reference into 1 plus alpha T minus TF. This R reference is the reference temperature. So see, just to compare the easily remember this equation, just compare with RTD. So what is the RTD resistance? RT equal to R naught into 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. Understand? The same relation we are going to hold. So because in all metals the resistance temperature relation will be same. So U is the overall heat transfer coefficient. Here alpha is the temperature coefficient of the metal wire. Okay. So according to King's law, the heat transfer coefficient is given by A plus B, V the velocity of flow to the power C. A, B, C, these three are constants. The C value is approximately 0.5 C value. So when we are intended to neglect the U coefficient from the relations. So instead of U, we are replacing the values. So here you see, here U is here. What is U? U equal to I square RT divided by AW. This comes in the denominator. So according to the King's law, what is the U? U equal to A plus B V F power C. So this equal to the I square RT divided by AW T minus TT. So the right hand side is derived from this relation. The left hand side is derived from the King's law. Okay. So A plus B F. We have to again solve. We have to simplify this relation, and we have to bring the final value of fluid velocity. So again we are substituting this RT instead of RT equal to RF. This comes from this relation. So we are replacing RT by RF into 1 plus alpha T minus TF. So if you substitute here, so I square RF 1 plus alpha T minus TF divided by AW T minus TF. From this relation, again we are going to simplify the relation for VF. If we bring all the coefficients to right hand side, you will get the fluid velocity. Finally, fluid velocity equation equal to I square RF 1 plus alpha T minus TF divided by AW T minus TF minus A. So just manipulating this equation, this relation, this A comes to this side, so minus A. This B is divided by whole thing, so divided by 1 by B. Okay. So this C, the V C, this side comes 1 by C. So same relation, just a manipulation. So from this relation, the fluid velocity depends on the current I square. Okay, the current I and the temperature T and the fluid velocity TF. So the temperature of the wire and fluid velocity, we may not say that fluid temperature is maintained constant. We do not give guarantee for that. So the temperature of the fluid also varies. So the velocity of the fluid is also depend on current and the temperature of the wire and temperature of the fluid. So in general, this VF is a function of current and TF, T and TF. Okay, T and TF. So current this. So velocity of the flow, function of either current, temperature, or TF. By keeping any two coefficient constant, we can get the fluid velocity as a function of current. So if we maintain the temperature of the fluid or temperature of the wire as a constant, okay, so the fluid velocity is mainly directly proportional to current through the wire, current variation detected in the wire. So such case is called constant current type of, constant temperature type of anemometer. If you maintain current as a constant, if you maintain current and the fluid velocity as constant, then if the temperature of the wire, by measuring the temperature of the wire, that means the temperature of the wire means the indirect measure is RT. So resistance, the temperature variation of the wire is measure of RT. So if we maintain current and fluid temperature constant, or if we maintain current constant, the temperature, that is resistance variation, is the measure of fluid velocity. That type of anemometer is called constant current type of anemometer. So there are two type of anemometer we are going to see today. So constant temperature type and constant current type. Understand? So first we see what is constant current type, constant temperature type. So as we discussed earlier, the fluid velocity is given by the relation, this King's law relation. From this relation, while keeping the temperature constant, temperature of the wire, this temperature of the wire is constant, we are connecting this probe to the 1 ohm of Wheatstone bridge. So here we excite DC battery supply because it's a portable one. So that's the rheostat to vary current, okay, to vary the current through the wire. Okay, so in constant temperature type, the function is current and the temperature, fluid temperature. So by keeping temperature constant, that means this constant, this area of wire cross section constant, okay. So the resistance of, when we maintain temperature constant, the resistance of the wire also keeping constant. So remaining parameters, these three are constant, only parameter, variable parameter is high. So function of I and this fluid temperature. So assuming the fluid temperature constant, the fluid velocity directly proportional to current. Okay. So what we do here is we have to, at balance condition, the galvanometer 0. When the fluid temperature and the temperature of the wire maintain constant, so there is no difference. So galvanometer reading is 0. So when flow increases, what our aim is in constant temperature in the wire, at any velocity, we have to keep the temperature of the wire constant. Temperature of the wire constant. How to keep the temperature of the wire constant? By increasing or decreasing the current through the wire. By means of increasing current and current, so the variation of current is the measure of, the variation of current is measured by the voltage across the probe. The voltage across the probe. So the voltage across the probe is measure of the fluid velocity. So voltage. So whatever voltage, this voltage, this is a fluid velocity. Okay. So the fluid velocity is a measure of the voltage we detected by to maintain the temperature in the wire, we are increasing the current through the rheostat. So the variation, how far we are maintaining, how much current we are applying, or how much current we are decreasing to maintain the temperature of the across the wire. So the variation in the current is measured in terms of voltage across the probe. That is the measure of fluid velocity. So the voltage is proportional to the fluid velocity. Clear? So there is a relation between these two. This is constant temperature type. Another type is constant current type. Here, the velocity of flow can be related in the wire resistance, the same relation. Here in the constant current, we are maintaining constant current. The reference resistance also constant. Okay, so here we maintain constant current, but there will be a variation in the temperature. Since the variation in temperature, the function of the velocity of flow is a function of temperature of the wire. So the temperature of the wire means, again, it is the measure of change in resistance, del RT. Here we have to maintain constant current. By adjusting this, we have to maintain constant current through this wire. If you maintain constant current, the fluid increases or decreases, that changes the wire heat. When there is a wire loss occurs, we have to immediately try to increase the current. So in this case, we maintain constant current. So suppose say 10 milliampere current is passing through the probe. So 10 milliampere square into RT, that heat is generated here. So the T is 10 milliampere. Okay, sorry, T is the temperature related to 10 milliampere. So we are maintaining the constant current in this bridge. So when the balance condition, this is 0. When the fluid velocity increases or decreases, that depend on due to the decrease in or increase in velocity, the resistance temperature across, there is a temperature drop in the wire. The temperature drop in the wire changes the change in temperature, change in resistance of the wire. So the change, there is a change in resistance. Obviously, the resistance, this is the resistive wire. When there is increasing or decreasing the resistance, there will be a deflection in the galvanometer. So the deflection in the galvanometer is a measure of the fluid flow here. So this is the principle behind constant current anemometers. These two anemometers are very, very important. Okay. Some drawbacks and the pros and cons in these two type of anemometer. Mostly constant temperature type of anemometer is mostly widely used in industries, because in constant current anemometer, if we set a current, say 10 milliampere instead of 10 milliampere, if we set some 20 milliampere, 30 milliampere to heat the wire. Suppose the fluid temperature is some 30 degree, 35 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius, assume the fluid temperature. So we have to increase the current. We have to set the current in the constant current anemometer to heat the wire. Otherwise, we can't be able to detect the fluid velocity. Okay. So according to the relation, T minus TF is there. That different temperature is measure of our resistance change. Okay. So if you set a high temperature to heat the wire, sometimes the wire will burn. Okay. If the velocity of the flow falls down, okay, the velocity falls down, the hot wire will burn, because we already set the constant current of I, because we set current high. This problem is not occur in constant temperature anemometer. That's why mostly constant temperature anemometer is widely used. Similarly, if the average velocity of flow changes, the current must be set in constant current anemometer. That is not required for constant temperature anemometers. Similarly, the errors in constant current anemometer is more if the fluctuations is plus or minus 5% variations. Whereas this is not happen in constant temperature anemometer. At any fluctuations in the fluid velocity flow, so there will be a constant output coming from constant temperature anemometers. So then also, apart from the relation between current and velocity, one more parameter is also depend on the current variation, because the density of the liquid fluid, either gas or liquid, both are having some density. So if the density of the liquid also come into the picture, so according to the current laws, I square r, that is I square is directly proportional to square root of density into velocity of the fluid. So these are all some pros and cons of the constant current and constant anemometers. Okay. Next, we are going to see the hygrometers. What are hygrometers? Hygrometers are nothing but humidity measuring meters. Humidity measuring meters. What do you mean by humidity? Humidity. Anybody? Shall we have a discussion? Okay, time is not there. We will discuss at the end. So humidity means amount of vapor present in the air. Amount of vapor present in the air is called humidity. Amount of vapor present in the air. You see, there is relative humidity is the amount of vapor present in the air relative to the air. How much air is hold that can hold the vapor? Okay, how relative to the vapor, how much it can hold in the air. So that is called relative humidity. I will tell some simple example. Humidity means amount of vapor present there. So these terminologies are very important. Sometimes the 2 mark question will be asked from this. So humidity is nothing but amount of vapor present there. Relative humidity. What is relative humidity? Relative humidity is the amount of vapor that is relative to how much air vapor can hold by the air. That is relative. Suppose I will tell you, before that we will see here. So here in Pondicherry today 8 a.m. in Pondicherry the humidity level is 72%. You go to Madhya Pradesh, the same time the humidity is 41%, the amount of vapor present there. If you go to Delhi, it is 57%. You see, so the Madhya Pradesh is exactly in the middle of our India, the middle portion. So in the, sorry, I am not the good drawing man. I am not a good painter. So this India, we are in Pondicherry in the coastal area. In the coastal area, normally the humidity will be more. If you go to the interior portion, Delhi as well as Madhya Pradesh or anywhere in Hyderabad, so those places are in the middle region of, not in the coastal region. So in that region, the humidity is mostly lesser than in for the coastal area like Pondicherry. If you go to Kanyakumari, Chennai, West Bengal, or all the places, humidity will be more. So if humidity will be more, see, you realize the role of humidity, how much amount of water contained in the air, vapor contained in the air. So we can realize during hot summer, we are in summer days. So nowadays, if you go out, but this month you should not go out because of lockdown, right? So tanithiru vilithiru. So we should not go out. If we go out, we may feel a lot of sweating in the environment. So if you go to Delhi, same the same day, if you move out in Delhi, you may not get the sweating also. Suppose Pondicherry, say 38 degrees Celsius today. If you go to Delhi, say some 45 degrees Celsius, even the temperature is more in Delhi, we may not feel sweating at all. That because of the humidity. So since lesser humidity, we may not get sweating in our body. So since, even though the temperature comparatively less in Pondicherry, we feel the sweating. We will get sweating in our body. So this is the role of humidity. Okay. So if you say, I will explain the relative humidity, say there are two cups, you take two cups. This cup is say 50 ml cup. The capacity of the cup is 50 ml. One more cup you can take. One more cup whose capacity is say 100 ml. 100 ml. 50 ml cup, there are two cups, 50 ml cup and 100 ml cup. But we are pouring some water or some liquid or water, say at 30 ml here in both glass or cup, we put 30 ml, 30 ml. So we for both in both cups we place 30 ml. So it means this is called cold air. This is called warm air. So this is warm air. This is cold air. Okay. So we are both containers have equal amount of water, but if we suppose if you pour more and more water here, this cup will saturate quickly. But if same amount, we are pouring same amount of water for both cups. So which will which cup will fill up quickly? The small amount of container. So 50 ml cup saturate immediately, whereas 100 ml cup takes more long. So the warm air absorbs more humidity. That means vapor, whereas the cold air not accept more. Because this is similar. This is the simple example for between the cold air and warm air. Understand? So if you calculate the amount of water vapor present in this cup and this cup, similar to the humidity, you calculate just 30 ml water, 30 ml water. Okay, 30 ml divided by 50 ml. So how much? Into 100. This is the percentage of relative humidity. Then in the same 30 by 100, 30 by 100 into 100. So 30 percentage. Here 30 percentage. Here almost 50 3 by 5. Okay, 60 percentage. Here almost 60 percentage. 60 percentage. So the relative humidity here is 60 percentage, whereas the relative humidity here is 30 percentage. That's why the hot air, has relative humidity less. Here in the colder air, the relative humidity is more. It's like Pondicherry, like a cold air is more here. In Delhi, the cold air is not there. Warm air is more. You see in the precipitation 0% in New Delhi, whereas in precipitation in Pondicherry is 5%. You see this Madhya Pradesh and the Delhi, the precipitation value is 0. So there won't be any sweating at all. Whereas in Pondicherry, 5% precipitation. That's why we are getting sweating in our body. See, because of this problem, the coastal area people are mostly affected by asthmatic, the lungs problem. So because of the humidity, the relative humidity present, as well as the precipitation of the air. Okay. So next is what is dew? Dew is the condensed yeah. Okay. Dew is when the water condenses at the ground level, when the vapor saturation occurs. When the vapor saturation occurs. So the dew is nothing but when the water vapor condenses at the ground level, when the vapor saturates. Okay, that's when the saturation condition occurs, the amount of water condensation, Tamil dew means panithuligal. So in the ground level pani mari vilum illaya, that is called a dew. So what is meant by dew point? The temperature at which the dew occurs or the saturation of the water vapor occurs. That is called dew point. So humidity is amount of water vapor present in the air. Relative humidity, the amount of vapor present in the air relative to the air, how much it can hold. Okay, how much it can hold. So dew is the when the vapor condenses, water vapor condensate at the ground level, the saturation occurs. Okay. Then dew point, the temperature at which the saturation occurs. There are many types of hygrometers available in the many type of hygrometers available. Few are resistive hygrometers, capacitive hygrometers, then conducting and non-conducting. So there are different types of hygrometers are available. So in our syllabus, we are having only resistive hygrometers. The resistive hygrometers are mostly made up of the conducting film called lithium chloride and carbon. So the lithium chloride and carbon material is placed between two electrodes. So with the different constructional features. So the conducting film is lithium chloride and carbon. So lithium chloride and carbon. So base two electrodes, base. So these two are base. So electrodes. These two are connecting lead wires. Similar to anemometers, this also connected to bridges. But in this hygrometers, this terminal should be connected to Wheatstone bridge, similar to that. But the important thing is we should not exit this bridge with the help of DC, because if we apply DC to the lithium chloride, there is a breakdown. Okay, the breakdown in the when it is that the basic principle is when we place a lithium chloride or carbon conducting film across electrodes, when we pass current to the electrodes, there will be a polarization. What is meant by polarization? One plate is here, another plate is here. So when we place the lithium chloride here, the separation of charged particles. So there is a separation of charged particles. The charged particles attracted towards the electrodes. So that is called polarization. So that when we apply electric current on the electrodes, there is a polarization occurs. So also the lithium chloride absorbs the water vapor in the atmosphere. So that atmosphere depend on the amount of absorption varies. Okay, depend on the when the absorption increases or decreases, the resistance of the lithium chloride varies. When the humidity changes, when there is a humidity changes, the resistance also changes. When more absorption occur in the lithium chloride film, the lesser the resistance. So more the absorption, more humidity, less resistance change. That change in the resistance is measure of the humidity. Okay. Suppose if the lithium, the relative humidity is high, lithium chloride absorbs more moisture, so resistance decreases. The change in resistance is a measure of the resistive hygrometers. So this del R is measured by means of bridge. We should not use DC bridge because AC bridge. If you use DC bridge, the constant plus and minus applied to this, then there is a breakdown in the lithium chloride. So we won't get any variation in the lithium chloride. That's why you have to excite the bridge with the AC. So this is another constructional feature of resistive, this electrical conductivity sensor. Same in different. This is the cross-sectional view. This is the cross-sectional view. This side view. Same. This is another structure. Okay. These two are connecting terminal electrodes. So conducting layer. This conductive layer is nothing but your lithium chloride and carbon. Okay. The advantages of resistive humidity sensors, hygrometers are low cost, small size. You can have these sensors can be used for a large range transmission. So because we can keep the probe the medium in the environment, the humidity is measured by the weather monitoring stations. So they place the probe in the outside the field, but the signal conditioning, everything is placed inside the station. Okay, so it can be used for suitable for remote operations. Then highly interchangeable, as there are no calibration standards. Okay, there is no calibration standards for lithium chloride and carbon. So there is no, so you can, it is easily interchangeable. So disadvantage of resistive sensitive to chemical vapors. Lithium chloride is sensitive to chemical vapors. Suppose if the sensor is placed near the chemical industries, so the lithium chloride also absorbs the chemical vapors which contains chemical components also. So pollution creating. Okay, like if you use a humidity sensor in Kodangulam, so that sensor will show different values because sorry, in Tuticorin, not Kodangulam, in Tuticorin there is a pollution industry is there. Okay, the output readings may shift if used with the water soluble products. So if you use the water soluble products, the output readings may vary. Application of resistive humidity sensor used in several industries, domestic, residential, and commercial applications. Okay.